Are new riders or returning riders being priced out of the motorcycle market? Just wondering if things have become so expensive that it's becoming virtually impossible for people either to start riding or to continue riding after a long absence for whatever reason. In my case, I started riding in my early 50s. I've got some money put away, and I was able to buy a bunch of things up front, but at the same time, I had to kind of go on the cheap because I didn't want to spend a lot of money because I didn't actually know if I was going to enjoy it or not. In the process of me getting started into riding, I bought a used motorcycle, and I did my best to spend very little money on equipment because things are so expensive. So I just wonder, with the way the cost of living is, especially where I am, how new people can sort of afford everything, whether it's a house, a car, or even a motorcycle. And I get that you can buy used motorcycles, which I did. Both my motorcycles are used because I wasn't about to spend the money on a new one. This one, when I bought it, it was, already 5 years old, but I probably saved half the price of buying it new. And, that worked for me. So people can buy used motorcycles, but then, you got to wonder, how old of a motorcycle are you going to buy before you have to start worrying about maintenance on it. Similar to my first motorcycle, it was a bit older, KLR 650, and I had some issues with it that I had to fix, and I got worried about doing long trips on it. And there's something to be said about buying a new motorcycle if you can, as long as you don't become upside down on it. And upside down just means that you spend so much money on it new and you decide to sell it, but you end up owing more money on it than it's worth. That's the upside down. Because I've heard tales of people buying a new motorcycle and gear and financing it all together, and ending up being in trouble when they decide to sell the motorcycle, and then they can't sell it without selling it for a loss and still owing thousands of dollars to whoever loaned them the money. I bought a 2015 KLR 650 for probably more money than I should have, but it was still far less than buying a new bike. And then I started buying gear. I bought all my gear new, so I was trying to kind of go with the most of my money, and I cheaped out on a few things. Specifically my jacket. I ended up buying a jacket that, as it turns out, I don't think was really as safe as it could have been for a motorcycle jacket. I think it had CE ratings, but I don't think they were real CE ratings. And when I compared that jacket to sort of more expensive riding jackets in the store, I realized pretty quickly that it probably wouldn't have done much for me in a slide, and the armor seemed pretty cheap in comparison. So that jacket I probably spent only about $80 on, and then after I decided I needed something new, then I spent a lot of money on a motorcycle jacket. So let's just try to see. As a new rider, let me try to add it up. So I spent $80 on a jacket. My pants, I think, after buying the armor, were probably around $350. I bought a helmet for about $300, and I'm just kind of guessing top of my head what I paid for this stuff. Ended up not being happy with that helmet, so I bought another one for about $250. My boots, I think they were just over $200. My first set of gloves were probably about $120. That kind of adds up. Things are already more expensive with the way things are in the world right now. And just to give an example, there are certain things that I can't even order from the States because they just don't even bother shipping them up to Canada anymore. Now, looking on Facebook Marketplace, there are a lot of cheap motorcycles, but now we are looking at motorcycles with, high mileage motorcycles, or they're old motorcycles that a person might have to do a lot of work to. So now there's other things too. So that's one thing to get started. You need all the gear. If you're going to get all the gear, I know a lot of good riders who don't have a lot of this gear. But you know, like, still, bikes are expensive. Now, fast forward, once you have the gear, and say you're like me and you find you just really enjoy motorcycling so much, and then you need extra things. So for me, mirrors, saddlebags, tank bag, even earplugs, things like that. You know, things start to add up as a motorcyclist once you really start getting into it. And I'm not knocking it. I love it. I'm glad that I can spend some money on it. I just worry that new riders might have a bit of a issue getting started. So now over to you. What are your thoughts? Are you like me, kind of a new rider starting out at whatever age? Or were you a returning rider after having many years off? You know, I know of riders that have had up to 20, even longer years off riding. And yeah, what was it like getting back? How expensive was it for you? Was it a struggle, or was it okay? Did you have the money to buy everything you wanted? I'm really curious. So, thank you for watching. Take care, ride safe.